Hello everyone, my name is Dan and today we're going to be taking a look at the SAT math section from the 2020 official SAT College Board study guide filled with 10 real practice tests. This is going to be test number 9, section 4 of the test, which is the math section with calculator. So this is the first time I'm ever doing a live stream on Facebook or Twitch or anything. Super excited to do this. And I really want to give as much knowledge as possible to the people who are taking SAT next year, who are high school students, or even if you are a grown adult who just wants to do some SAT math questions. That's what I'm literally doing right now. So more than welcome to join me in doing that. Okay, so really the only difference between the math calculator section versus the non-calculator section, I mean, first of all, it's very the same in terms of the numbers and the math involved. But what really comes down to is some of the calculations are going to be harder because, it will require a calculator. And honestly, I kind of prefer the no calculator section, and that's for two reasons. Number one, whenever you don't have a calculator, they typically give you easier math to do, which is always nice. And two, the no calculator section actually is a different format. The no calculator section is 20 questions and you have to complete that in 25 minutes, while the calculator section is actually 55 minutes and you have to answer 38 questions. So it's essentially twice as long as the no calculator section. So it really is more like a marathon than a sprint. And besides that, there's pretty much no difference between the two. Math has always been one of my strong suits, so I'm not too worried. My goal, out of the 38 questions we're going to be answering today, my goal is to get 36 of 38. I have a very good feeling that I'm going to at least know how to answer all the questions because I have been for years. But it really just comes down to making stupid mistakes. And if I can keep that under 2 stupid mistakes for 38 questions, I mean, that's going to equate to like probably a 750 or better on the actual test. So I'm happy with that. And without further ado, let's switch over and get started. Okay, so here it is, the math calculator section. I've got my timer here set to 55 minutes exactly. In terms of pacing, pacing is important for the SAT. And pretty much to stay on top of the time, I'm just going to literally skip any problems that are giving me trouble and just answer the ones that I know how to do. And if you do that, you're pretty much going to be fine, assuming that you know all the math involved. Now, I am going to be giving commentary as I'm answering all of the questions here. You probably, it's probably way too small to actually see what the questions are, but I'm going to be writing everything in Sharpie, so hopefully you'll be able to see that. And so, yeah, I think with that, let's get started. Okay, I'm going to set the timer here. Okay, we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I need to find a better place to put this. Question 1. What value of x satisfies the equation 3x plus 3 equals 27? So number 1, 3x plus 3 equals 27. Very easy equation here. You just have to isolate x. So I'm going to first subtract 3 from both sides. You get 3x equals 24. And then you just have to divide by 3, and you get x equals 8. Super easy question to start out. That's typically how they go here. Answer choice B for number 1. Number 2. 2 units of length used in ancient Egypt were cubits and palms, where 1 cubit is equivalent to 7 palms. The Great Sphinx statue in Giza is approximately 140 cubits long. Which of the following best approximates the length in palms of the Great Sphinx statue? So this is a pretty cool just unit conversion kind of problem. So we know that 1 cubit is equal to 7 palms. And that's going to be a super important tool that we're going to use here. Also the math, as soon as you get to 140 times any number, that's going to be pretty tough to do in your head. So I'm definitely going to be using a calculator for this problem. So it's saying the Great Sphinx was 140 cubits long. How many palms was that? So we have 140 cubits, and this is actually the start of dimensional analysis. like once I do my tutoring classes for physics specifically, you're going to see that this is literally the first problem essentially. And we just need to get rid of the units cubits and replace it with palms. So if we have 1 cubit in the denominator to cancel out with the cubits in the numerator here, and we just fill it in with 7 palms, because this is a perfectly legal math operation, you're just multiplying by 1. And so the cubits are going to cancel, and all you're left with is palms, and we're going to have to have a calculator. But I could probably do it in my head. It's 700 plus 280, so it's going to be like 980. Let me check. 140 times 7. Yep, 980. Sick. It's that mental math power. So 980 palms, and that's going to be answer choice D for number 2. Okay, number 3. If 2 over n equals 5, what is the value of 2n minus 1? So 2n over 5 is equal to 10. And we want to know what the value of 2n minus 1 is. So that's as easy as first solving for n on the left and then plugging in the value for n on the right. Super easy problem. We just multiply both sides by 5 first. So we get 2n is equal to 50. Then divide both sides by 2, you get n equals 25. Now you just have to plug that in there for n. And you get 2 times 25 minus 1. That's 50 minus 1. You're going to get 49, which is answer choice B. Okay, doing great so far. Number 4, I'm actually going to solve 4 up here so I can use as much room as possible. Number 4, which of the following values of x is not a solution to the equation above? Okay, so this one's actually kind of tricky for a lot of people, and that's because as soon as you get a square root of a square involved, it's kind of tricky. One thing that's useful to know, like this is just a good fact to know, the square root of x squared is actually, you can also replace that with the absolute value of x. That is a mathematically correct thing to say, and that's because you're never going to get a negative value out of a square root symbol. Which means if we have the absolute value of x is equal to x, and the answer choices are -4, 0, 1, and 3, the only time that's not going to be true, the only one that's not a solution to that, is -4, because, you know, -4 does not equal +4. So it's going to be answer choice A for that one. Okay, next page. Next page, we start off with a graph, my favorite. In an experiment, a heated cup of coffee is removed from a heat source, and the cup of coffee is then left in a room that is kept at a constant temperature. The graph above shows the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit of the coffee immediately after being removed from the heat source and at 10-minute intervals thereafter. Of the following, which best approximates the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit of the coffee when it is first removed from the heat source? So with the graph here, it's going to be every 10 minutes, right? Temperature of the coffee immediately after being removed from the heat source and at 10-minute intervals after. So at 0 seconds, that is the time when it's first removed from the heat source. And if we want to find the temperature at that time, it's literally just the first point on the graph. So that would just be like 198, it looks like. Answer choice D. And I just want to make sure 100% I didn't misread something, and I feel like I easily could have there, so I'm going to mark that one. Okay, moving on. Next page. Problem 6. During which of the following 10-minute intervals does the temperature of the coffee decrease at the greatest average rate? So we're continuing from the last problem. I knew it was too easy. During which of the following 10-minute intervals does the temperature of the coffee decrease at the greatest average rate? So if we're talking about greatest average rate and the greatest decrease, what they're really talking about is slope. And the slope is most steep, and it's decreasing the most during that first 0 and 10-minute interval. So that would be A. And that, you know, is technically calculus, by the way, but, you know, you don't need calculus to answer that question, obviously. There's no derivatives or integrals there. In the figure above, we have line AD intersects line BE at point C. If x equals 100, what is the value of y? Okay. So this is just a triangle question. Pretty cool one, actually. I really like this problem already. So we got something like this. With this bow tie shape, we have 20-degree angle here, a variable x, variable y, and then a 40-degree angle over here. And one thing, we need to find the value of y, and we have x is 100. degrees. So the secret to this problem is pretty much we need to find y. But first, we need to find these values right here. And the cool thing that we can do is we actually do know this angle right here, and that's because every triangle adds up to 180 degrees. So that angle, I'll call it z. That angle z is equal to 180 minus 100 minus 20. Minus 100 minus 20, and that's going to be 60 degrees. And the cool thing about that is since these are called vertical angles, since they intersect each other at the lines, then we know that this angle is also going to be z. Z is equal to 60 degrees there as well. And so then we can find y, because y is 180 degrees minus 60 degrees minus 40 degrees. And for that, that's 100. So it's going to be 80 degrees for y. Answer choice C. Doing great so far. How are we doing on time? Looks like we have 47 minutes left. Great. Okay, next up. Problem 8. The line graphed in the XY plane below models the total cost in dollars for a cab ride Y in a certain city during non-peak hours based on the number of miles traveled X, and we see a linear line here in the graph. According to the graph, what is the cost for each additional mile traveled in dollars of a cab ride? Whenever you see a graph like this, you should immediately be thinking two things. One, what's the y-intercept? And two, what's the slope? Because each of those means something separate in the context of the problem. And in this context for the problem, the y-intercept, it looks like 1, 2, 3. So the y-intercept is the charge for the cab ride even at 0 miles. It's kind of like a registration fee when you sign up for a gym. And then the additional cost for each additional mile traveled for a cab ride, that's going to be the slope of our line. So we just need to find the slope here. And we know that slope m of any line is just equal to y2. We have to pick a y2 point. I'll choose 5. At 5, we have 1, 2, 3, 13. So 13 minus at 0, once again, it's 3. And then the x values, we chose 5 and 0. And now the slope of that would be 10 over 5, which is just 2. So it's an additional $2 for each mile traveled. That would be answer choice A. Doing great so far. Number 9. And once we get this problem, we're pretty much a quarter of the way there. But the toughest ones are definitely to come, so don't worry about that. On Tuesday, a local gas station had 135 customers. The table above summarizes whether or not the customers on Tuesday purchased gasoline, a beverage, both or neither. Based on the data in the table, what is the probability that a gas station customer selected at random on that day did not purchase gasoline? Whenever it comes to statistics, you just need to know that probability is just equal to the number of chances that can happen over the total number. And so we have the total number for people who purchased, just in general, the number of people here, it's 135 total people. And then the chance that they did not purchase gasoline not purchased, it says 50 there. So that would be 50 out of 135, answer choice D. Super easy probability problem for that one. Normally they're a lot harder than that. But that's how you do it either way. Okay, number 10. Washington High School randomly selected freshmen, sophomore, junior, and senior students for a survey about potential changes to next year's schedule. Of students selected for the survey, 1/4 were freshmen and 1/3 were sophomores. Half of the remaining selected students were juniors. If 336 students were selected for the survey, how many were seniors? This is an interesting question. So first of all, we know that we can kind of put it into categories like freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. And then we have the total, it said was 336. Okay, so if 1/4 of them were freshmen, that's just 1/4 of 336, which I'm going to need a calculator for. 336 divided by 4, that'd be 84 people. For sophomores, it's going to be 1/3, it said, so 1/3 times 336, and that's going to be 112. And then here's where it gets interesting because it says half of the remaining selected students were juniors. So it's not half of 336, it's half of 336 minus the number of freshmen. It's supposed to be a 4. Minus the number of sophomores. So 336 minus 84 minus 112 is going to give us 140. And half of that are juniors. So 1/2 times 140, which would just be 70. And then it says the remaining students are seniors. How many are seniors? So in that case, it would just be 70. And just to make sure my math adds up, I'm going to add up 70 plus 112 plus 84. And that should give us the initial 336 number, which it does. And answer choice D would be correct, or at least it should be, which is 70. Cool. So next up, we have problem 11. Come on, paper. Losing precious time here. Okay, for number 11, plant A is currently 20 centimeters tall and plant B is currently 12 centimeters tall. The ratio of the heights of plant A to plant B is equal to the ratio of the heights of plant C to plant D. If plant C is 54 centimeters tall, what is the height of plant D in centimeters? Okay, cool. So all we know, and I'm going to use like 4 variables here. This is number 11. We have A is 20, B is 12, and then the last thing they tell us in the problem is that the ratio of heights of A to B, and ratio you can just write as a fraction. So A to B is equal to the ratio of C to D. And they also give us that plant C is 54 centimeters tall. So we can literally plug it in here and see what we get. A is 20 divided by B, which is 12, is equal to C, which is 54, divided by whatever D is. And now from here we can just cross multiply. We get 20D is equal to 54 times 12, whatever that is. And then D would then be equal to 54 times 12 divided by 20. So really the secret to that problem isn't just knowing that ratios are, fractions. It really just comes down to, can you recognize what a word problem is saying and kind of translate that using like a Rosetta Stone or whatever you want to call it into math speak. And so that's going to be 32.4. Weird that they have a decimal, but that is one of the answer choices, so it is answer choice A. I guess it's not that weird. I mean, it is the calculator section. Problem 12. Biologists found a new species of pale shrimp at the world's deepest undersea vent, the Beebe Vent Field. The vent is 3.1 miles below the sea's surface. Approximately how many kilometers below the sea's surface is the vent? I'm going to read that one again. Biologists found a new species of whatever. The vent is 3.1 miles below the sea surface. Approximately how many kilometers below the sea? Oh, this is another dimensional analysis problem. I can't believe they have 2 of these in one test. Like normally they have 0, honestly. But whatever. So we have 3.1 miles, and we want to convert that to kilometers. And if you're just joining us now, I'd recommend just literally, doing these problems on your own, like not just like watching me do it, because you're really only going to get better by doing it yourself and not just by watching me. So we have 0.6214 miles. Again, we put miles in the denominator because we want to cancel with miles in the numerator there. And that's equivalent to 1 kilometer. It says that in the problem. So then miles cancels, and we're left with 3.1 divided by 0.6214, and that's going to give us essentially 5 kilometers, which honestly I should have picked up on that just because, a 5K is exactly 3.1 miles. So yeah, that one's pretty easy. I actually ran a 5K once. Actually, I think twice. And boy, I never want to run that far again. Not that I even think I can run that far anymore. Okay. We're doing good on time. We still have 40 minutes left, or we're on the 39-minute marker, so plenty of time left. A cargo helicopter delivers only 100-pound packages and 120-pound packages. For each delivery type, the helicopter must carry at least 10 packages, and the total weight of the packages can be at most 1,100 pounds. What is the maximum number of 120-pound packages a helicopter can carry per trip. Interesting. Cargo helicopter delivers only 100 and 120-pound packages. For each delivery trip, the helicopter must carry at least 10 packages, and the total weight of the package can be at most 1,100 pounds. What is the maximum number? I'm going to tell you right now, this is a really hard problem, but we can answer it using a system of equations. X will be the 100-pound packages, and Y will be the 120-pound packages. And we're just going to answer it using an inequality. So we know X plus Y, the number of packages, is going to be, it has to be at least 10. So greater than or equal to 10. We also know that the maximum weight, so again, that's 100X plus 120Y, because each 100-pound package plus each 120-pound package has to be less than 1,100 pounds. And it says at most, so it includes 1,100. So now we just need to solve the system of equations. And to do that, I'm going to set up a graph. So we know y is greater than or equal to 10 minus x. And then we know 120y is less than or equal to 1,100 minus 100x. And then we're going to divide both sides by 120. This is straight up, like, this reminds me of pre-calculus back in the day. And this is actually like one of the only tests I ever failed in my life. And then I got to redo it, and then I got 100%. And then my teacher rounded it to like an 80-something. So that was pretty cool. I had a really cool teacher that year. Got 9.17 minus 100 divided by 120, 0.83 x. Okay, so now we have 10 minus x. Y is greater than 10 minus x. So there's 10. There's 10. And that equation is literally just going to look like this. And then y has to be less than 9.7 minus 0.83x. Wow. Holy crap, maybe this is why I failed that. This is a really, really hard problem. Oh my god, this is such a hard problem. Okay. Minus 0.83x. When does it get there? What's its value at 10? 9.17 minus 8.3. At 10, this value is going to be 0.87. And the reason that's significant to me is because it literally means now we're looking at 3 potential points. And since it's, well, actually, it's greater than or equal to the y minus 10. It's greater than this line, but less than this line. It's literally one of these points right here. And since it's talking about the maximum number of 120-pound packages, we want to maximize y. So it's going to be this point right here. So wherever these lines intersect, that's going to be the answer. Wow, this is hard. I'm not even sure if I'm right about this too. I just hope I'm right. So if we plug in y equals 10 minus x here, we get 10 minus x. And at this point, we can use equals because we know what we're doing, and we know it has to be equal. So 9.17 minus 0.83x. Subtract 9.17 from both sides. Mental math, please don't fail me now. 0.83 equals 1 point, no. 1 minus 0.83. 0.17x. Oh, this is solving for x. I was a fool. Because now we're going to have to plug it back in for y. So 0.83 divided by 0.17. Please be a whole number. It's not. Great. 4.88. And now we're going to plug that in for y. And y is going to equal 10 minus 4.88, which is 5.12. And so then the maximum number of packages would just be 5c. And I'm definitely going to want to look at that later, but I think that's the right answer, so I'm going to keep it for now. Going on to the next one. Still doing good for time. We're not halfway there yet, but we're also not halfway through the time yet. We got like 8 more minutes before we need to start panicking. That last problem took longer than I wanted it to. Number 14. Number 14 says, a company purchased a machine valued at $120,000. The value of the machine depreciates by the same amount each year so that after 10 years, the value will be $30,000. Which of the following equations gives the value V of the machine in dollars T years after it was purchased for 0 to 10? Okay, so if it's initially valued at 120,000 and it depreciates by 30,000 each year, it would be the value is equal, initially the y-intercept is 120,000, and then the slope is negative 30,000. So minus 30,000 and t. Why does it say 0 to 10? Does it even matter? Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. So that's after 10 years it depreciates by 30,000. So then if we want to find the value each year it depreciates, it would be 30,000 divided by 10. Something's fishy about that because that's not in the answer choices. What am I missing? After 10 years, the value will be 30,000. Ah, okay, so I'm just a fool. So they give us 2 data points. That's what they do. V of 0 equals 120,000. And then they give us V of 10 is equal to 30,000. That's what they're telling us. And from there we can find the slope. And the slope is going to be m equals 30,000 minus 120,000 divided by 10 minus 0. And that's going to give us an answer of 30,000 minus 120,000 equals, divided by 10, negative 9,000. That's what negative 9,000 is showing up. And so then we have the slope. We have the y-intercept is 120,000. We can easily solve this. So V is equal to, what was it, 120,000 minus 9,000 t, which is answer choice B. Cool. Okay, now we're on to problem 15. Line M in the xy plane contains the points 2, 4, and 0, 1. Which of the following is an equation of the line M? So another, very similar problem to the last one, but they just ask it in a different way. They give us 2 points, and we need to find the equation of the line. So if we have 2 points, it means we, again, can find the slope using M equals, and it's kind of annoying because they use M as the equation, so I'm going to say slope instead is equal to y2, 1, minus y1, 4, over x2, 0, minus x1, 2. We get negative 3 over negative 2, which is 1.5, or I'm seeing the answer choices there, 3 halves. You always want to be consistent with the answer choices. And then that's that. So then we want to go and find the y-intercept. And to find the y-intercept is literally just saying y equals 3 halves x plus b. And we have a point. We have 2 points, actually. I'm going to use 0, 1 because it's easier. So y1 equals 3 halves of x, which is 0, plus b. And then we say b is just equal to 1 because that was 0. And so we have the whole equation of the line is y equals 3 halves x plus 1, which is answer choice D. Nice. Number 16 now. In the expression above, a is a constant. If the expression is equivalent to bx, or b is a constant, what is the value of b? Holy cow, okay. So it's saying this, 4x plus 4, times the quantity ax minus 1. Get ready to foil, everyone. Break out the tin foil, and then we're going to set that equal to, it's saying that the expression is equivalent to bx. It means that, it doesn't tell you in the problem that it equals bx, but you have to recognize that it equals bx. And if this is true, and we need to find the value of b, and a is a constant, okay. So let's factor everything out and see what happens. We have 4ax squared minus 4x plus 4ax minus 4, and then we're going to subtract x squared plus 4, and that equals bx. A is a constant. Why does that matter? The expression is equivalent to bx, where b is a constant. What's the value of b? Interesting. I guess it doesn't matter because A has probably a certain term in it that ends up not mattering. Okay, so let's see what we get. We have x squared times the quantity 4a minus 1 minus plus x times the quantity negative 4 plus 4a. You might be wondering what I'm doing right now. I'm taking all the terms that have like x squared in it and factoring them out. Then I'm taking all the terms that have x in it and putting them separately, and then doing the exact same thing for the last one, which they actually cancel out, so that's cool. And if that's equal to bx, then the only way that's true is if this term, specifically this term, is equal to 0. So that actually gives us a huge insight about the problem. 4a minus 1 equals 0. That means a is equal to 1/4. And if we know that, we can then plug in here. That's going to equal negative 4 plus 4 times 1/4, which is equal to negative 4 plus 1, which is negative 3. B is equal to negative 3. So we get a final answer of answer choice B. That was a cool problem. I recommend looking at other ones like that, and I don't even know what to tell you about. If you do enough practice, you'll see other problems like that. It's just as simple as that. Okay, we're at 27 minutes. We should be halfway done, and we are currently not, and it only gets harder. So we're going to have to buckle down. Okay, problem 17. If 2w plus 4t equals 14 and 4w plus 5t equals 25, what is the value of 2w plus 3t? System of equations, not that bad. 2w plus 4t equals 14. 4w plus 5t equals 25. We're going to have to multiply this side by 2, specifically negative 2. And when we do that, we get negative 4w minus 8t equals negative 28. And then on the bottom, we have 4w plus 5t equals 25. Okay, and then we can just add these two together, and we get negative 3t is equal to negative 3, and t is just going to equal 1. That's cool. Now we can plug it into either of the other equations that we just had. So we can do 2w plus 4 times t is 1 equals 14, plugging into that original equation there. And then we get 2w equals 10. W equals 5. And then it asks for the value of 2w plus 3t, which is really just annoyingly extra work. 2 times 5 plus 3 times 1. We get 10 plus 3, or 13, which is answer choice C. Moving on, 18. Questions 18 to 20 refer to the following information. Jennifer bought a box of crunchy grain cereal. The nutrition facts on the box state that a serving size of the cereal is 3/4 cup and provides 210 calories, 50 of which are calories from fat. In addition, each serving of the cereal provides 180 milligrams of potassium, which is 5% of the daily allowance for adults. If P% of an adult's daily allowance of potassium is provided by X servings of crunchy grain cereal per day, which of the following expresses P in terms of X? So each bowl represents 5% of the daily, right? So we want to know which of the following expresses X. What's X? Servings. So P is equal to 0.05X. Like that's just what it is. Or is it 0.5? What's going on here? It's like none of the, if P%, oh, it's percent. So it's 5x, that's percentage. B for 18. 19. On Tuesday, Jennifer will mix crunchy grain cereal with super grain cereal for her breakfast. Super grain cereal provides 240 calories per cup. If the total number of calories in 1 cup of Jennifer's mixture is 270, how much super grain cereal is in 1 cup of the mixture? Holy crap, this is getting tough. Okay, so we know that it provides 240 for this Y value, I'm going to call it. So super equals Y, crunchy equals X. Wanted to find that at the beginning. And the total is 270. How much super grain cereal? Oh my gosh, this is crazy difficult. if the total number of calories in 1 cup of the mixture is 270, we need to find the total calories in crunchy, which they don't even tell us directly. So that means that in 1 cup, 210 over x is equal to 3/4. And so if x is like the number of calories in crunchy, it's going to be 210 times 4 divided by 3, cross multiply, and then divide 280. So that's 280, 270, and that's 240. So we know 240 times the y proportion plus 280 times the x proportion. I know I'm mixing variables, and I'm sorry about that. Equals 270. And we also know that x plus y is equal to 1, like 100%. Okay, so we need to find how much supergrain is in the mixture. So that just tells me that we're solving for y ultimately. So I'm going to solve for x in the preliminary equation. You'll see why I do that in a second. X equals y minus 1. We get 240y plus 280y minus 1 equals 270. Yep. And this is also a pre-calculus question. Very difficult, in my opinion. 240 plus 280 is going to be 400. 520y minus 280 equals 270. So we get 520y is equal to 280 plus 270, 550. And then y is just going to equal 550 divided by 520. 550 divided by 520 gives us something wrong. What am I doing wrong? Y? Dang, dude. I'm going to have to come back to this one because I'm messing up. 1.06. Yeah, we're skipping that one. Okay, number 20. Which of the following could be the graph of the number of calories from fat in crunchy grain cereal as a function of the number of 3/4 cup servings of the cereal? If it's saying that 50 calories are from fat, then number of servings, calories from fat. Which of the following could be the graph of the number of calories from fat as a function of the number of 3/4? It's going to be linear. It's going to be A. It's linear increasing. They could have asked that a few different ways, but the way they asked it, it's a linear line increasing, and the y-intercept is 0 because of the wording. 21. 21 set, and we have 20 minutes left too to answer the last 18 questions. The graph of the exponential function h in the xy plane where y is equal to h of x has a y-intercept of d, where d is a positive constant. Which of the following could define the function h? Y-intercept of d, where d is a positive constant. Which of the following could define the function h? Did it say it was an exponential function? Exponential means x shows up in the exponent, so it's either a or d. And then it's saying has a y-intercept. In other words, when it's 0, it's d. So that would be answer choice D. Because you plug in x equals 0 there, and that's 1, and 1 times d is d. 22. The weight in pounds for 15 horses in a stable were reported, and the mean, median, range, and standard deviation for the data were found. The horse with the lowest reported weight was found to actually weigh 10 pounds less than its reported weight. What value remains unchanged if the 4 values are reported using the correct weight? Did it say the horse with the lowest reported weight was found to actually weigh 10 pounds less? That's going to change the range. That's going to change the mean. It's going to change the standard deviation. The only thing it doesn't change is the median. And the reason for that is because median doesn't care about the endpoints. It cares about the middle point. Near the end of the U.S. cable news show, the host invited viewers to respond to a poll on the show's website that asked, "Do you support the new federal policy discussed during the show?" At the end of the show, the host reported that 28 responded yes and 70 responded no. Which of the following best explains why the results are unlikely to represent the sentiments of the population of the United States? And this definitely has something to do with a bias in the media. A, the percentages do not add up to 100%, so yeah, that's not it. Those who responded to the poll were not a random sample of the population. That is true. That's our best answer right now. C, there were not 50% yes responses and 50% no responses. That's not it. And D, the show did not allow viewers enough time to respond to the poll. It's definitely B, because it's not a random sample. It's not random when the people watching your show are your only source. So 24, if f of x is equal to 5x squared minus 3 and f of x plus a is equal to 5x squared plus 30x plus 42, what is the value of a? This is a fun one. We get 5x squared minus 3 and f of x plus a is equal to 30x plus 42. This is interesting. Definitely regardless, why is it showing the middle term changing? Wow, this is weird. I actually have no idea for this one. 25? If sine of x degrees equals a, which of the following must be true for all values of x? Cosine of x equals a? No. Sine of 90 minus x equals a? No. Cosine of 90 minus x equals a? Yes. Cosine of 90, so minus x. First of all, you're flipping it, and then you're shifting it 90 degrees. 90 degrees, but it's a positive, so it shifts it to the left. Yeah, that's it. See. 26. The quadratic function above models the height above the ground h in feet of a projectile x seconds after it has been launched vertically. If y equals h of x is graphed in the xy plane, which of the following represents the real-life meaning of the positive x-intercept of the graph? X-intercept is where it's going to hit the ground. The time at which the projectile reaches the next height, the time at which the projectile hits the ground. The initial height. Am I missing anything? Which of the following represents the real-life meaning of the positive x-intercept of the graph? The maximum height, the time, height. What? Y is equal to h of x. That makes sense. Why don't I see the right answer? Which of the following represents the real-life meaning of the positive x-intercept? The time at which the projectile reaches its maximum height, the time at which the projectile hits the ground. Oh, x isn't distance, it's time. Wow. So yeah, it would be the time at which the projectile hits the ground. D. That was weird. 27, 15 minutes left. In the xy plane, the graph of the polynomial function f crosses the x-axis at exactly 2 points, a, 0, and b, 0, where a and b are both positive. Which of the following could define f? And it's just saying that a and b are both solutions to the equation. So that would be answer choice A, which is f of x equals x minus a times the quantity x minus b. 28 now. These last few have been going fast, which is good. If y equals 3x squared plus 6x plus 2 is graphed in the xy plane, which of the following characteristics of the graph is displayed as a constant or coefficient for the equation? Which of the following characteristics of the graph is displayed as a constant or coefficient? Y-coordinate of the vertex. That's not it. We definitely have the y-intercept, because when x is 0, y is 2. C. And it really depends on how they do the equation. Like the way they did that equation, that's what it is. 29. The scatter plot above shows the federal mandated minimum wage every 10 years between 1940 and 2010. The line of best fit is shown, and its equation is y equals that. What does the line of best fit predict about the increase in the minimum wage over the 70-year period? Each year between 1940 and 2010, the average increase in minimum wage was that dollars. Okay, we just need to find the slope for this one. That's not too bad. So the slope, and we'll pick pretty like broad numbers. We have the points m equals, at 70 years, it's 6 minus, at 10 years, we'll say it's like 0.5 divided by 70 minus 5. And that's just going to be 6 minus 0.5 divided by 65. And we're going to get 0.085, which none of the answer choices, but it's closest to answer choice A, which says the average increase in minimum wage was $0.096, which honestly, it really just depends, I think, on what 2 points you pick. And I chose 2 points that happen to be that. Oh, and I chose 10, didn't I? That's supposed to be 10. How does that change the answer? 5.5 divided by 60, 0.91, 0.092. And yeah, that's very close now to answer choice A. Okay. Answer choice 30, problem 30. The scatter plot above shows the company's ice cream sales. D in dollars. In the high temperature T in degrees Celsius on 12 different days, a line of best fit for the data is also shown. Which of the following could be an equation of the line of best fit? It's literally the same as the last problem. This is so weird. Except now we need a Y-intercept. So 2 points I want to pick. 12,500. So 500 minus. I should have picked Y2. Y2 is 22,800, we'll say. 800 minus 500. And when it's 800, it's 22. Minus 12 at the 0.1. And for that, that's going to give us 300 divided by 10, which is 30. So slope 30, which is very close to 33, so we'll go with that. And then for the Y-intercept, you need to be careful because it's, they only show 10 there. So for that, we're going to plug in the equation. 800 equals 30x plus b, where x when y is 800 is 22. And so we get 800 minus 30 times 22. 30 times 22 is 660. So minus 660 equals b, which means b is going to equal 800 minus 660, 140. So the final answer should be 140 plus 33t. And that's not exactly like any of these, but it's closest to D. I'm a little worried because it's like still pretty far away from any of the other answer choices. But like looking at this, I feel like it should be 300. So weird. Should I go with my gut or what I actually think the right answer is? I'm going to go with my gut and put C. I'll probably explain why later when we're looking at these over. 8 more problems to go in 10 minutes. We literally have to go at a pace of 1 problem per minute and answer the last 2 questions. There's no way it's getting done, but that's okay. 31, in the XY plane above, the circle has center HK and radius 10. What is the value of K? Radius 10, so we know this is an interesting one. I wish I had more time to do this, really. 4, that's 20, that's 10, and that's also 10, which means we know the point in the middle is 20 plus 4 divided by 2, which is 12. And so we have this distance then is 8, and that distance is 8. And the reason we do that is because we need the center What's the value of k? K is just the y component too. So we have two components. To find the third component, we need to use Pythagorean Theorem because these are both right triangles. It's going to be square root of 100 squared, 10 squared minus 8 squared, which is going to give us probably 36. 100 minus 64 is 36. Yeah. Square root of 36, which is 6. So that's 6 in the air. So k equals 6. And since it's a grid I'm just going to circle 6. 32. In the xy plane, line y has a y-intercept of negative 13 and is perpendicular to the line with equation y equals negative 2/3 x. The point 10b is on the line L. What is the value of b? Y-intercept of negative 13 and is perpendicular to a line with the equation. It's perpendicular, it means it has the opposite reciprocal slope. So it's going to be 3/2 as the slope, and they give us a y-intercept of negative 13. We want to know the point 10b. So we have y equals 3/2 x minus 13, and we have all the points we need. So we can just plug in b equals 3/2 times x, which is 10 minus 13. And that's just going to give us 5 times 3, 15 minus 13 equals 2. 32 is 2. 33, we're getting there. Human blood can be classified into 4 common blood types, A, B, AB, and O. It is also characterized by positive and negative. The table above shows the distribution of blood type and plus minus factors for a group of people. If one of those people who is rhesus negative is chosen at random, the probability that the person of blood type B is 1/9. What is the value of X? Wow. Blood type B. The reason that's helpful for us is we know that the probability of the person chosen blood type B is 1/9. That blood type B is equal to 1/9 times the total. And we don't have the total number yet. So the total is going to be equal to 9 times the number B is. And B is 9 plus 2, which is the number of people with blood type B. 11 times 9 is 99. So we know 99 people are in the survey. 99 minus 37, which is the other blood type O, is going to equal X, which is going to be 99 minus 37, 62. Cool. 34, we're almost there. Based on the graph above, in how many of the games played did the soccer team score goals equal to the median number of goals for the 29 games? First, we need to find the median, and to do that, it's like there's 1, and then there's like 8. There's no easier way for me to do this than literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1 for 7. And then just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 is the median. And how many games did they have where it equaled the number of median? And that would be 9. Okay. Just under 5 minutes left. You have like 5 problems left. 35. Gisela would owe $15,500 in taxes each year if she were not eligible for any tax reductions. This year, Gisela is eligible for tax deductions that reduce the amount of taxes she owes by $2,325. If these tax deductions reduce the taxes Gisela owes this year by D, what is the value of D? Would owe $15,000, reduce the amount by $2,325. The deduction, I think, is just 2325 divided by 1550. Super easy if that's it. 2325 divided by 15,500, 0.15. D is a percentage, so it would just be 15%. 36. The system of equations above has no solutions. If a and b are constants, what's the value of a over b? So we know that 3/4 x minus 1/2 y equals 12, and ax minus by equals 9. We can multiply this one by 3/4 to get it equal to this one looking. So we get 3/4, which is now 9/16 x minus... Oh, you know, I'm an idiot. Why would I change that when I can just change the bottom one by 4/3? And then you would get a is 4/3 a x minus 4/3 by equals 12. And now we know 4/3 times a equals 3/4. Like they just have to be equal to each other, because there's no solution. And the only way that's true is if a equals, wow, 9/16, can't believe that. B is equal to -1/2 equals -4/3 b. So b is equal to +3/8. And now we want to know the value of a over b. A over b is equal to 9/16 divided by 3/8, which is going to give us 72/48. What is that simplified to? 72 divided by 48 is 1.5. Holy crap, that took way too long. We do not have enough time to get through all the questions. No way. But if we go over, like, literally it's more important to me than just like understanding it than like the time itself. So we can like factor that in by whatever. 37, based on the information given in the table, how much greater in millions was the median number of international tourist arrivals to the top 9 tourist destinations in 2013 and the median number in 2012 to the nearest tenth of a million? And the table shows the number of international tourist arrivals rounded to the nearest tenth of a million to the top 9 things. I'm assuming this is the median, even though it doesn't even really say it. Shoot. Oh my gosh, we have to literally like cross these out. So 1, what's the least? It literally, you have to rewrite all these. There's no way I can do this in 43 seconds. I need to skip it. The number of international tourist arrivals in Russia in 2012 was 13.5% greater than 2011. The number of international tourists arriving in Russia was k million more than 2012 than 2011. Was the value of k the nearest integer? There's no way I can solve either of these in 30 seconds. So at this point, I'm just going to do what I do best and take my time and let the time go to 0, which is fine. But to answer 37, what we have to do is like literally rewrite 2012 from least to most, which would be like 24.7, 26.3. Is it already in order actually? Oh, that actually makes it a lot easier. Let's see, if it's 9, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 46.4, and it's like 47.7 minus 46.4, which would just be 47.7 minus 46.4. It's going to give us 1.3. Yeah. The number of international tourist arrivals in Russia in 2012 was 13.5% greater than it was in 2011. The number of international tourist arrivals in Russia was k million more in 2012 than in 2011. Was the value of k to the nearest integer. So we have one data point, and that's 2012. We know 2012 for Russia was 24.7. 24.7. And since we know that the number of arrivals in Russia in 2012 was 13.5% greater than 2011, it means that 1 plus 0.135 times the percentage in number 11, I'll just call that x, is equal to 24.7. So we know x is the number of people in Russia, so it's 24.7 divided by 1.135. X is equal to 21.76, and that's millions of people entering Russia in 2011. But that's not what the question's asking. The question's asking what is the value of k to the nearest integer? So that would just be, k is equal to 24.7 minus x. K is equal to 24.7 minus 21.8, because this is around to the nearest 10th. Actually, this is around the nearest integer, right? Yeah, and the nearest integer is just going to be 3. Okay, so that's those problems. I want to go back. Like, we guarantee got like 4 wrong. And I think the reason for that is honestly just explaining it the whole time. But, like, I'd rather explain it. I guess the whole point of doing this is not just to do it, but to, like, actually give value. Yeah, number 19, I think I got stuck on. Let's take a look back at that one. This was also, like, a really hard one in my opinion. 19, added with the cereal. Dude, I love cereal, but, like, not like this. This is just dumb. All these proportions. On Tuesday, Jennifer will mix crunchy grain cereal with super grain cereal for her breakfast. Super grain cereal provides 240 calories per cup. If the total is 270, what on earth did I do wrong here? 240y plus 240x equals 270. That's gotta be the problem. I did something very wrong. No, that sounds right. 240. I must have made a math mistake or something. Y minus 1. 280y minus 280 equals 270. 280 plus 240 is 520y minus 280. Oh my gosh, it shouldn't be greater than 1 though. What on earth? Like, you do this and then you get like x is like 0.06. What the heck? No, I see what I did wrong. This is so dumb. What a dumb mistake on my part. X is equal to 1 minus y. That completely flips the problem. That makes it so that it's actually plus 280, and the difference of 280 minus, that's minus 40. Minus 40y plus 280 equals 270. That means that minus 40y is equal to negative 10. Y is equal to 1/4. And again, that is the answer to our question because it was in 1 cup and it's a 1/4 cup. Okay, that one's good. There were a couple others I circled. I don't care about the ones I was like double checking. I definitely care there was like one more I just straight up couldn't get. It was like right around this problem too. What was it? If I like look through this, I'll find it. It's this one, 27. Oh my gosh, 27. I answered A. Like, I don't even think I meant that. Oh, no, it wasn't 27. What was it? It wasn't a grid in. It was like f of x and f of x plus a. There it is, 24. Yep, there it is. Okay, let's think. (24) f of x plus a. Oh my god. So dumb. I'm so stupid. We have f of x equals 5x minus 3. We know what f of x plus a is because it's literally plugging x plus a into x. And so you get 5 times the quantity x plus a squared minus 3. And that's what's equal to 5x squared plus 30x plus 42. Okay. Let me draw a line here. I'm going to need the space. So 5x plus a squared, that's 5x squared plus 2xa, but times the 5 is 10xa, a little bit of mental math there, plus 5a squared, and that's equal to that right thing. The 5 matches up. We know 10xa equals 30x, x cancels, 10a equals 30, a equals 3, and just to check that, we can do a squared is 9. 9 times 5 is 45. That doesn't match. Oh my gosh. And answer choice C has to be right because like it's showing up there. I must have made a mistake. So, oh, minus 3. Missed a minus 3 there. Minus 3. And that does equal 42. Okay, we're good. Holy crap. Okay, so that's all the answers. And like straight up, if I were to like not explain like every answer as I went along, I would have gotten like all 55 within the time limit. So I don't know how I want to grade it. I'll probably grade it like 1 with time and 1 without time being a factor. But yeah, we're going to have to go through now and grade. And I feel like I did really well. Like, I don't see myself making a mistake on like any of those except for like, there was one I just straight up guessed, and I want to know what the answer to that one was. Besides that, okay, let's check out the answer sheet. It's in the back. The essay's coming up next. I'll probably do that next weekend. Okay, this is not the math. Probably the reading right here. That's probably the writing. This is section 3, which is the math with no calculator. Now here's the math with calculator here. Okay, so question 1, B. Good so far. Question 2, D. Question 3, B. Where's question 4? Question 4, A. Question 5, D. Good. A little worried about that one. This is so out of order. Question 6, I think we're on. Question 6, A. Question 7, C. Question 8, A. Question 9, D. That's right. Question 10 is D. Good. Question 11 is A. Question 12 is D. Or at least I got D. That's correct. Question 13 is C. That's right. Yeah, that was a really tough one. Like, honestly, the reason that, like, this was so hard was because it was, like, a system of inequalities, but we had to say, first of all, like, define the range in which we had an acceptable region after graphing the inequalities, which is this little sliver right here. And then it said what was the greatest number of 120-pound packages, and for that reason, it had to be the dot where I put right there. Okay. That was tough. We're at 100% right now if time were not a factor. Which, like, I'm not worried on an actual exam because I'm not explaining every answer in an actual exam. Question 14, B. And I think that's what I'm going to do from here on out is honestly just not worry about time and just give the best explanation possible. That's like what gives the most value. Question 15, D, that's what I had. Question 16, B. Oh my gosh, we're killing it. But the hardest ones were definitely coming up. I don't think I made a mistake on those. Like normally with the harder ones, it's like if I get an answer, I'm like pretty confident it's right. Question 17, C. Question 18, B. Question 19, B. Yeah, we got the crunchy cereal one. Let's go. Okay, we got our cereal out of the way. Actually, we still get 20 right, and then we got 100% of the cereal section of the test. A. Sick. Okay. My favorite cereal is Wheaties, by the way. I think it's an awesome cereal. People say it's too bland. Those people will be wrong. It's an awesome cereal. Highly recommend it. Breakfast of champions, and that's what I am. 21. D. Good. 22. B. 23. I have up here. B. 24. I got C, and that's correct. Yeah, that was the f of x plus a one. 25, C, 26, D. Killing it. There's one more I'm worried about, though. I forget what number it was. 27, A, 28, C, 29, A, 30. No, yeah, that's the one that like I was unsure of, I'm pretty sure. Line of best fit? Yeah. We're going to go back to that one after this is done, but like, I don't know why I wasn't getting the right answer for that one. If it was D, I feel like an idiot because I said D originally, and it was just like so off, like the graph. And, like I don't understand why. Like I got 140 as the Y-intercept, and the actual Y-intercept was like 84. Like that's not even close. Like I don't know what happened there. I'm gonna have to look back and see what I did wrong. 31. Answer is 6. That's what we had. We're on the grid ends now. 32. Answer is 2. Good. 33. Please be 62. Subtract 8 equals X. What did I do wrong? I did something extremely wrong for 33 because the answer is 8 and I got 62. We'll figure that one out. 34 is 9. That's right. 35. 15. Good. 36. 1.5. Good. 36, I remember being really hard too. Yeah. 37. 1.3. Yep. 38. 3. Okay, so we just got 2 wrong, and like the one I knew, like I was guessing going into it. The other one I don't know why I got wrong. So it was 24. No. 30 and 30 and 33. Let's check those out. Also, by the way, I like literally knew I was gonna get 2 wrongs of stupid mistakes. So annoying. But hey, not everyone can get 800s on the SAT. I remember I got like a 780 when I took this class. I mean, when I was in high school. 30. I literally just want to see what this equation was. Scatter plot shows ice cream sales and temperature in degrees Celsius on 12 different days. A line of best fit, which of the following could be an equation of the line of best fit? And it's literally, it just wants you a y-intercept and a slope. I'm going to pick 2 different points and like 2 points that definitely show up here. So that would be, it definitely crosses 822. I'm going to keep data point 1. And the other data point I'm going to choose, it comes really close to 16. So I'll choose 600 minus, what is that? Did I say 16? So that would be 200 over 6, which is like, I have a calculator. Should be like, that actually is probably closer to 33. 200 divided by 6. Yeah, that's 33. If I just literally chose that data point, it literally would have got me the right answer, which is like super annoying. And I guess, you know, looking at the answer choices, I should have plugged in 33 here because then that would give me a smaller number for B, but like, whatever. 800 minus 33 times 22. 33 times 22 is 726. 800 minus 726 is 74. And yeah, that would have gotten me D for sure. Ugh, so close. Oh well. What else we got? 33? What did I do wrong at 33? It was a grid in. I must have done something stupid. It was the blood type one. Oh yeah, when I was saying earlier that like normally these statistics questions are like harder, this is normally why. This is just a statistics question. If one of these people who is negative positive, no, I didn't read the whole question, and I'm so annoyed because I thought I did. It says not just if one person's blood type is B is 1/9, it's if one of these people shows up negative and B. or actually specifically the people who show up in the negative test. So the number of people who show up in the negative test, x, RB, is equal to 1/9. So 1/9 of x is equal to 2. 1/9 the total is equal to the number of people who had negative blood type and B, which is 2. So that would be 18. And is that the right answer? I forget. I need to look. I think it was 18 or 8. No, it couldn't be 8. Is this the right math section? Yeah. 33. 8. What? What am I doing wrong? No! Oh my god, I am so bad. Oh, x isn't the total. Jeez, that's why it's important to read the question. X isn't the total number, it's literally the number of people with O. So like if I were to like straight up do 33 again, it would look like this. Number 33. The number of people, 7 plus 2 plus 1 plus x, divided by the number of people, that's the probability. That's 1/9. Okay. And that's 10 plus x is equal to 9 times 2. 10 plus x equals 18, which means x just equals 8. That's what the actual answer is. Oh, man, that's rough. So that gives us a final score. And like, assuming time isn't a factor, which for me, I don't think it would have been if I was really powering through, that gives us a 36 out of 38, which is literally, the goal I set out to do. So good job. Any less than that, I'm a bit upset, but I'll take 36 out of 38. And that's pretty much it. Then all I wanted to do today was the math calculator section. That felt good. I'm going to switch over to the main camera view. And so pretty much, if we're talking about the difference, once again, between the math section with calculator and without calculator, at the end of the day, it is still math, but the biggest difference is for sure the number of questions and the time period. Because the no calculator section is 25 minutes to answer 20 questions. The no calculator section is literally like twice as long as that. It's 55 minutes to answer 38 questions. It's definitely more of a marathon than a sprint. And sure, the calculator does kind of play a role, but like not really, because at the end of the day, it is still the same vibe that SAT questions kind of ask for the math section. A lot of it has to do with algebra, equations of lines, slope, Y-intercept. There's a lot of geometry questions in there, some statistics, and a lot of this, the same questions, regardless of whether or not you need a calculator, should really not be defining your success on the SAT test. What really it should be coming down is, do you know the material, and are you willing to execute in those 25 or 55 minutes? And besides that, it's pretty much the same. So we killed it today, 36 out of 38. Could do better, of course, but that's going to be like a 750, which will get you into like pretty much any college you want if it's not Harvard. And, if it's Harvard you want, then like, you just got to practice more. So this is like the first time I've taken like an SAT practice test since like, I don't even know how long ago. But yeah, really good stuff for today. And we're going to be continuing next time, probably next week. We're going to be doing the SAT essay on Saturday, a new segment I want to start for SAT on Saturday. Special shout out to Ben Kirk, who he has a birthday today, so shout outs to him. And besides that, yeah, I hope to be streaming Monday through Friday next week, which, regardless of whether or not that actually happens, it would not be SAT. It would be making lesson plans for probably physics for my summer classes. Summer classes starting June 22nd for calculus, June 23rd for physics. If you want to go into the next school year and have like a really strong foundation in either calculus, AP Calculus, AB specifically, or AP Physics 1 or C, you know, it's pretty much the same material, then I highly recommend going into one of these courses. You're literally getting an amazing value. $10 per lesson is literally like, I used to charge, like, when I first started doing tutoring, I started charging at $20 a lesson. So the fact that, like, I have really like 400 hours of experience at this point, I've charged as high as $50 in the past. $10 a lesson is like an insane value. You know, and I'm doing it, number one, because people don't know who I am. I'd be lucky to get anyone who I can get right now. But number two, I'm trying to make tutoring and education and learning widely accessible and wildly affordable. So I don't know how long these $10 classes are going to be lasting, but seriously, if you're watching this and you're taking calculus or AP Physics next year, highly recommend in signing up for one of those classes. I'm going to be signing off. Thank you all for joining me. My name is Dan, and we'll see you next time. See ya.